Racing to the massive roar of the crowd, sending her forward, putting her right on the speed. Epic finish to the Everest. What a daring ride. Bella Nipotina wins the Everest. A thriller there at the end.
With Tim Gilbert and Julie Snook, this is Racing Dreams, the Everest.
Oh, it's great to have your company. Racing Dreams, of course. Spring is in the air, Jules.
Good morning, Timmy. Welcome back in studio. I missed you last week. I felt like I was talking to myself for an hour. Lucky we have great guests.
I watched it back during the week. I'll give you 10 out of 10.
Oh, thank you.
10 out of 10. Hopefully we can live up to those expectations.
Yeah, let's continue that. Let's try. Big day of racing. The sun is shining in the harbour city, which is very refreshing.
Yes.
That has not been the theme of late. Let's take a look at what's coming up. The new grey flash eyeing the world's richest race on turf. We catch up with Team Hawkes for an update on their star sprinter.
We're joined live by champion jockey Zac Purton as Ying Rising heads to Australia in search of Everest glory.
Can't wait for that. And Bathurst prepares for its big dance as we preview tomorrow's Bathurst Cup.
First, though, as we always do, group racing returns to Rosehill Gardens. I think it's about a soft 7 at the moment. Run to the Rose.
Nick Burney is live in the Sky Racing studio. Good morning to you, Mr. Burney.
Morning, Tim and Julie. Yes, another important day on the racing calendar. It's that real fork in the road for these 3-year-olds. Are they going to be that 1400 miler type or a real sprinter? But I think the headline act, and I know we pump her tyres up, has to be Autumn Glow again. Look, she looks a superstar in the making, but most importantly, I think she's got to be the punter's friend. She's going to be holding all of our cash today throughout the multi. So pretty keen to watch how she goes today. But I think we could roll in the vision here. This is Autumn Boy. So this is Autumn Boy, who I thought was the best on the program here. So he was in a 3-wide trail this day, and it was a really slowly run race. He's only had the 2 career starts, but you just have a look at him accelerate here. He resumes today off a 77-day break. He's trialled up beautifully. He's worked past the post the other day, said he was ready to go, but I've always had a lot of time for him. I think he's a really nice type in the making. He's probably going to be that Golden Rose type, even get up to the mile or further, but I like him. I really like this horse. So if he's ready to go today around that $2.80 mark, I think he is the clear best bet on the program. That is Autumn Boy in race 6.
Autumn Boy, okay. And all those words about Autumn Glow, I'm with you. $1.40 today. And if she wins, she's in open company today. If she wins, she'll be like $1.80 or $1.90 for an Epsom, which is almost unprecedented. But your next best, race 5, is Catch the Glory. Tell me about Catch the Glory.
Well, she's turned into a bit of a Rosehill 1100 metre specialist, and that's why I'm going to make her one of the better bets on the day. She's around that $4.60 to $5 quote, and this is her last start. So she's back there with the white cap in the navy blue colours, just coming through the pack. So look, she was run to suit this day. She had her chance. It was a great ride here by Adam Hieronymus. He just had to slightly go back to the inside there and switch back. But have a look at her closing speed. This is quite a strong race this day against the clock, but she ran some of the fastest closing splits to the meeting. She's just going so well. Look, she has to step up in grade today, but I think she can make that step because how well she's going. She's got that fitness edge over a couple here, so she's going to get that nice tempo up in front, and just how the way the track may play today, she can come through the middle like she did there and be too strong through them. Just at the prices, I thought she should be much closer to the favourite in Kerguelen.
We'll get to the tracking conditions shortly, but let's talk through your value. Where might we find a little bit of value today? Yeah,
look, he's not heaps of value, I must admit, though. He has been well back this morning, but I think there still is enough juice in the price. That is in Skyhawk, and this is the feature race, the Run to the Rose, and I just think he was big odds. So he's the horse out the back there, just making that long, wide, sustained sprint there with the white and red cap. So he was first up this day, only had the 1 soft trial. This was a heavy 10 surface this day, a very strong testing surface. So for him to make that long, sustained sprint, he actually clocked the meeting's fastest final 600 metres. He's had a trial between runs. I think getting out to the 1,200 metres now suits, but his last couple of bounds here I thought had a lot of merit. And if you look at the horse inside him here, that's Grand Prairie, who's subsequently come out and won since as well. So the form's since been confirmed there with Skyhawk, but I just really like how he's got the platform now to get out to the 1,200 metres. I think he can be a major player in the Golden Rose, which is that lead up today. Just around that $657, I think that's too big, so I have to back him. But maybe something each way, but more on the win.
Yeah, Karen McAvoy was on the program last week talking about Skyhook and really likes him. Of course, a three-time winner of both the Everest and the Melbourne Cup, knows his horses. He's also on Autumn Glow today, so that's interesting. What about out wide? You know, I like a little bit of juice on the bone.
Yeah, I've got to go to Coffs Harbour. I'm going to go on Sunday. So we just got to build the kitty today, and then we can just turn on the TV again like we did last week when the football's on. It's finals footy time. Have a bet at Coffs Harbour as well. This will be, though, in race 2. And this is the John Higgins yard. So he's now in his yard. He's had the 2 career starts, and his last start at Port Macquarie, he's the horse here. He's just running 4th there with the blue hat and the red sleeves. And first up, he probably just needed the run. So this is second up, and he's just that real miler type. He comes out to win this race and just peaks on his run over that final 100 metres, but I still thought he maintained a strong enough finishing speed. So at the country circuit, when they've had that couple of runs, now everything about this just tells me he's ready to go third up. But the big plus is he now goes back to his home track. A nice draw there for John Grisdale as well. So Sunday, I think we can get the cash. And also, it's under set weights conditions, which is a big plus for this horse in maiden grade.
All right, well, let's take a look at your tips. We'll pull up the graphic. So get your phone out, get your pen and paper out and have a look at Nick's tips of the day. And then I might ask the studio to roll the meeting overview and you can talk us through conditions at Rosehill today as well.
Yeah, so best bet will definitely be in race 6, number 1. That'll be Autumn Boy. So I really like this runner. I think he's clearly the best bet on the day. So look, you could almost back him in the Golden Rose. You could take the double there to win today, and then also in the Golden Rose as well. So the next best though, we'll go back to race 5, which will be Catch the Glory. That is race 5, number 9. Then go all the way to the feature race there today, which is Skyhook. That is in race 8. So Skyhook probably on an each way basis, and then Coffs Harbour there. It would be race 2. That's the other horse that I wanted to back, the Highland as well. So having to back those 2 runners. On the track meeting though today, obviously we'll be out at Rosehill. The rail's out 6 metres. So generally when we've had all that rain throughout, they do want to slightly edge off the fence. And at Rosehill, you don't want to make that long sustained run. You really want to come through them. That is the big plus today. Soft 7 track. The sun's out though. We might even get to a soft 6, can you believe it? With all that rain back there on Tuesday and Wednesday, I couldn't believe it, that we could be on a soft 6. So I think the track's going to play really well. I think you can bet with a lot of confidence, and it's another great meeting here out on Saturday.
Absolutely, and it was interesting. I was talking to Michael Wood from the ATC during the week, and he said that Randwick got about 170 mil, but Rose Hill somewhere between 50 and 60, so not as much. So it was opportune this week, the weather and the way it hit Sydney town. Good on you, Nick. I can't believe it. We got very lucky. Good luck to everyone having a bet today, and hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks, Nick. We'll see you next week. Well, what an autumn it was for trainer Michael Freedman. He is one of the favourites on the show, headlined by another win in the Golden Slipper, this time with Mahuna.
Absolutely, Jules. And he's continued it on in the early part of the spring. And today, Manal comes into it a bit with the scratching of Jolie Star. I caught up with Michael at his stables. Take a look. The Michael Freedman spring. It's good to see the weather change.
Yeah, it's nice to see the sun out. The tracks are drying out now and everyone's got a bit of pep in their step, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Vidya, very well behaved.
Yeah, she's a nice, sweet filly. She's only had the 2 lifetime starts and she's still sort of learning away a bit, but she's got a great nature.
What about Manal? She's a superstar, did so much in her 2-year-old year. She's now 4.
Yep, she's come back, I think, really well. Didn't have a great deal of luck down at Caulfield. She sort of got stuck in the worst part of the track. First look around there, which can happen for Sydney horses sometimes. I don't think she liked the place that much. So she's back now. If she can sort of regain some of that good form with her 2-year-old year, then, she's 4 now, so she might be a chance for the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? With new races like the Golden Eagle, it brings it right into her space. What do you want to see from her before you think about it?
Just see her regain a bit of form. I haven't been unhappy with how she's been going at all. Right through the autumn, she sort of got hampered with bad barriers and put in some good performances without winning. So I think she's going well enough. Sometimes these fillies and mares, can go through a bit of a flat spot. So hopefully if we can see her form improve over the next run or two, then that'd certainly go a long way to running in a race like that.
Mahuna in front from Wotan. Tempted as flashing home. Mahuna and Wotan, and Mahuna and O's to Wotan. Another thriller, but I think Mahuna and O's.
It was a big day, that's for sure. I wouldn't say it was unexpected, but we certainly I guess went in a little bit as the underdog, and she only scraped into the field at the last minute. So, to do what she did at only her third lifetime start was pretty amazing. So, it's a day I'll remember for a long time.
And how's she come back, generally speaking? Because it's a difficult exercise, isn't it, that transition?
Yeah, it is, and you never really know until you sort of put them down on the racetrack again. But she's showing all the signs of being back in good form. The work's been great. She looks well, so fingers crossed.
3-year-olds for the spring are a big thing for you. Who else is there or thereabouts?
Aerodrome's a nice young 3-year-old gelding now. He put in a good run there on Saturday at Rosehill. We had to lump 58 kilos and give quite a bit of weight away to most of his rivals. So I thought he did a good job to run fourth, possibly head towards a Guineas, either down in Melbourne or something up here.
What about the whole idea of Ying Rising, this Hong Kong superstar coming to town?
Yeah, look, it obviously creates a bit of interest. He looks as though he's got some ability. Not so sure that he should be as short as he is at the moment, but there's plenty of chatter about him, so it'll be interesting to see how he measures up out here.
David Hayes has said it's the best he's ever trained.
He usually says that about his good ones.
He's had some good ones.
He has, and he says the same thing about all of them.
But what about getting the international influence in this jurisdiction? It's been there, of course. William Haggis has had such a fantastic run.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You put plenty of prize money on, and they'll come from everywhere. So I guess it creates a bit more interest.
Makes it even nicer to beat them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've got a little share in a horse with Michael Freedman, militant, so hopefully we'll see him running sometime over the next few months. But a busy day for the Hawks stables with runners across the card at Rosehill today. Wayne Hawks joins us now. Wayne, how are you, mate?
Morning, Tim. Morning, Julie. I'm actually a bit wounded. 16-year-old daughter's birthday party last night. For anyone that's got a 15-year-old daughter, do not do it, okay? I'm only telling you once, don't go there.
I'll tell you what,
Sky News breaking news is back on in about an hour, so you might lead the news bulletin with this at the Hawks stable.
My record this morning is 0 fell pulled up, and I reckon I drank that much of a glass of wine last night. So it's not alcohol-induced, it's child-induced. But anyway, it's trying to be father of the year, but I'm a million miles behind. I'm further back than Chautauqua, I reckon. But anyway, I'm trying.
At least
you're out of the gates.
You got out of the gates. Great segue, boom, Tish. And this isn't a bad segue either. Nepotism in the Run to the Rose.
Yeah, look, he's a great horse, and what he did in his 2-year-old record was, or his 2-year-old year, should I say, was crazy. So he's still last there on the right-hand side in the green. He's still last, and he's actually still last till there. So to get home like he did in this mile race was quite phenomenal, and I think it was the best 2-year-old win I've seen of any horse last season. So to do what he did there, and even his first start, he ran third in the Golden Slipper lead up in the Todman, and that's the number one race leading up the Slipper, and he nearly won that. So he's a really good horse. It'll be good to see him back today. The only thing is, I reckon this race is going to be a shocker from the point of view. I reckon there'll be 3 unluckies. There'll be 3 that should have won. There'll be 3 jockeys with pumpkin heads on that just rode them badly. I just reckon it's going to be one of those races where it'll be good bragging rights, but gee whiz, it's a cracking field, isn't it?
I'd like to hear you in commentary just quietly. Just the way you talk through races, I think that's its own little segment.
We might need 7-second delay, but we could do it.
But the absolute truth is, racing is probably the only sport that doesn't have a special comics. You think of the AFL, NRL, and I'd love to go, J-Mac, what are you doing, brother? Get out of there. I mean, it could actually work. I mean, if you could work with Matt Hill or Darren Flindell, it would probably give a little bit extra, wouldn't it? But, you know, because it's such a short race and a short time span, NRL, you got 40 minutes, haven't you? And AFL, you half an hour quarters. So, but he's one of the only sports. You imagine the 100-metre where someone's giving some commentary to Bruce McAvaney. Don't know how well that'd go, but anyway.
Oh, well, the commentary would go through the roof, particularly if you got something on the nose and it's a head bobber. Now, what about Gangster Granny in the Sharaka?
I love this name.
Yeah, you're right. It certainly is, and obviously with the odds-on pop Jolie Star coming out, it was that's a plus for us. And yeah, 2 weeks ago I got a bit confident here. I thought, we got the superstar behind us in the yellow covered, but no, here comes J-Mac and nailed us on the inside. But to be fair, we're an up-and-comer, and it did help because of the heavy track, and it's a 7 today, so obviously it's that close to heavy. It's not funny, but it was no surprise, this mare. She'd always gone really, really good, and even though she's coming off Kembla wins, we've always had a big opinion of this filly. So if you can handle a wet track, that's a big positive, because it's probably not going to happen much more in the spring, but it'll definitely happen in the autumn. But with Waller's odds-on pop coming out, I was not upset, let me tell you. So she's a really nice filly with a great name, as Julie said.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a mate of mine in contact during the week, Darren Willis, of course, got horses with you as part share of Brutal as well. Federalist,
yes.
Really likes Federalist. Starts in the Ming Dynasty today.
Yeah, he's a lovely horse. He's had 3 runs as a autumn 2-year-old, and he had 3 absolute shockers. Not much more could have gone wrong. And he's by a champion sire, I'm Invincible, out of that great mare Arcadia Queen. So he would be the best looking horse we train if he is the Tom Cruise or the Brad Pitt or the George Clooney, this bloke. There's no doubt about that. And his 3 runs have been amazing, and I still can't believe he's a maiden. Well, he's still eligible for a maiden. He hasn't won a race, so he's got to go back today from a bad barrier, but he'll be hitting the line strong, and race like the Spring Champion is going to be right up his alley. But he's, as I said, he's a maiden, but he's certainly the best maiden by 100 yards in our stable.
Well, there's a big race coming up next month by the name of the Everest. You've got a runner, Briasa, trialled on Tuesday. What were your thoughts on your trial? How's he going?
Yeah, look, he's flying. He's had a couple of trials this time in, and he's won both. And someone said to me, "You blokes don't win trials." I said, "Well, we can't make him go any slower." So trials are one thing, though, Julie. It's actually getting out there race day. And this was him the other day on the course proper out wide at Rose Hill, and he had his ears pricked, and he went the line. And the horse on the right behind him in the green was Michael Freedman's slipper winner. So he gave her a win burn, but different class, obviously, him to the Golden Slipper winning 2-year-old. But he's in great form, and gee whiz, it's going to be some sort of race. Jolie Star will obviously run next week. Jimmy Star, we're going to run. So it's going to be a hell of a race, the shorts next Saturday. But we're looking forward to Briasa. In last spring, this time last year, he was a restricted horse running restricted races, and he came back in the autumn, and he was so unlucky in the Galaxy, and he flew from last, and he was definitely the run of the day, and no horse came from last to do what he did, and he flew home, ran 4th, and he came out and won the TJ, and we tried him over the 1400 of the All Age, and to be fair, he ran 1,350 metres, and the last 50 he was gassed, and he didn't run the 1400, so he's probably gone that close to being unbeaten, this horse. And he went to the Paddock of Boy in the autumn, and he's now come back as a man in the spring. And if you're talking footy terms, he went away to the gym, put on 40 kilos, and he come back, and he's now a front rower or a centre half forward, whichever your sport is. But he's done really, really well, and I suppose the puppy fat's turning the muscle. Yep. So it'll be great to see him back next Saturday. It's going to be a hell of a race.
I remember being a scorer reporter on TUE's Great Summer of Cricket in 93, 94, and I put on 30 to 40 kilos. And it was all puppy fat. Good to talk, Hawksy.
I did too. That was when I was 13, but anyway.
All the best today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Wayne. Still to come on Racing Dreams. We're live to Hong Kong to chat with the jockey steering the 2025 Everest favourite. Mr. Zach Burton is joining us next. Welcome back to Racing Dreams. Lovely to have your company on this beautiful spring Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
Sydney,
it's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? It's postcard-like in Sydney. Now, Hong Kong sprint sensation, Ying Rising, is on his way to Australia about the 22nd of September for this year's $20 million Everest, the richest race on turf.
Jockey Zach Burton, I am very happy to say, joins us live. Good morning and welcome back to Racing Dreams.
Thanks. Good morning, Julie and Tim.
Great to have you on the show. We watched him race last week in Hong Kong. He's got an engine, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a pretty special horse, and I just watched that clip there of Wayne Hawkes talking about Browser going out a boy and coming back in a man, and our horse has done a very similar thing. He's put on 35 pounds, in the off-season, and with a little bit of racing, he's going to trim up a little bit, but that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see him come back, mature, nurture, get stronger, and he's certainly done that. So we're really happy with our horse.
You extended the unbeaten streak to 13 wins. Give us a bit of an understanding of just the fanfare and the support that this horse has over there. The crowds, the love that they have for him, it's phenomenal.
Well, they always get behind their champion, and this is the next champion off the back of some great horses that we've had in recent years. But he stands atop our horses here, ratings-wise, around the world now. And Romantic Warrior did a really good job of that last year, going down to Australia to win the Cox Plate and then Japan. And he was very brave in Saudi Arabia and Dubai. But this horse now is probably a little bit more popular than what he is. And we've got an exciting program ahead of us.
David Hayes has been very public. He's said in interviews with me and many others that this is the best horse he's trained, and he's had some amazing horses. There's been a few quip that Hazy says that about all his good ones, but what do you think?
Oh, he does. Yeah, Hazy's very optimistic, and that's what we love about him, that he gets very excited and up and about. And he's been championing this horse for quite some time, and I probably wasn't with him there early on, but as time's gone on and he started to build his record and he's doing some special things now, I certainly have to agree with him, and he's, no doubt the best horse that I've now ridden, and he's still quite lightly raced, which is a scary thing. Horses in Hong Kong generally mature at a later rate than horses do in Australia due to the fact that they need to be imported to come here. They have to acclimatise. It takes them some time to get used to the climate here, the humidity, the hard tracks. They need to learn to eat. There are a lot of things that can delay a horse's growth here in Hong Kong. So the fact that he's now just turned 5, I think he's just starting to step into the territory where we're seeing nearly a complete horse.
We're just looking at the pictures now of just life for you and the family over in Hong Kong. What has been the talk, and Timmy there as well when he went there for his trip earlier in the year, what has been the talk about this Everest? Because I know you've obviously got family here, but Ying Rising is the only name we are hearing when we are talking about the 2025 Tab Everest. What's it like over there?
Yeah, it's mayhem here as well. This race has been on the radar for quite some time, so it's been a really, really long build into it. I haven't ridden a horse that has had as much attention on him for one single race before in my career like this. Everyone around the city is talking about him. He's in the papers every day. Everyone's, that's all they want to ask. How's Ying Rising going? What do you expect? Where's he at? You're looking forward to it. So a lot of the races, it's sort of just a build up in the few weeks or the month before it. But because we're going overseas and we're taking on the best horses in Australia, and let's not forget that Australia breed predominantly sprinter milers. So we're going to the toughest jurisdiction in the world with our horse, and we're going to try and see how we measure up against them. Now, we've got a lot of respect for the horses in Australia. Browser trialled very good the other day. Private Harry's going to come back. He's unbeaten. You've got Jolly Star, Lady Shenandoah, Jimmy Star. And there are going to be a few other horses in there as well. It's going to be a cracking race. It's going to be a race run at a good speed. My horse likes to roll along at a fast speed. Browser's a freewheeling horse, and so is Private Harry. So I think it's going to split the field up. Every horse is going to get their chance, and I'm just looking forward to a great race on the day.
It has its variables, doesn't it, when you travel a horse? But the ATC, arguably one of the best in the world, and the quarantine centre at Canterbury is outstanding. So you must have full confidence that everything's going to go well on that front.
Yeah, well, I think we've got the right horse to travel with as well. His temperament is great. He's a really kind horse to do anything with. He regularly travels from our training centre here in Sha Tin up to Trongfa in southern China, which is about a 5 to 6 hour float trip for them. So he's had the opportunity to change stables, change environments, go up and back in the truck. So hopefully getting on a plane, he hasn't done that for a while, but he's done it before. So hopefully he's relaxed and can take that in. And then when he gets to the quarantine centre, it's quite quiet out there at Canterbury. So he's got a travel companion with him to keep him company. And we just hope that he settles in well. We're going to take him to Randwick on October the 7th for a barrier trial, get him to have a look at the track, get a feel for the tie-up stalls, get him a little bit more familiar with the environment that he's going to be in. And I'm sure he's going to handle it well. But race day is going to be his test, of course, because, it's a sellout. There are going to be a lot of people on track. Everyone's going to be down there with their camera and their phone trying to take a photo of him. He's going to have a lot of attention. It's going to be very busy around his stall. And that's something that he's not used to. He's used to being in his stable and just walking over to the track here to race. So that's something he's going to have to learn to handle. And then, of course, we'll get into a parade ring, get him out on the track, and hopefully all going well, he can have a smooth run, and we'll see how we go.
What about you? How are you feeling heading into October? There is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of eyes on this race and on the two of you. How are you coping?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm very excited. It's a great opportunity to have, especially at this stage of my career, to follow myself on a horse of his calibre, and then to go back to Australia, obviously, where I'm from, but representing Hong Kong, which has been my home for nearly 2 decades now, on the short price favourite and the horse that at the moment is probably the most talked about horse globally from around the world. So it's a very exciting opportunity. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to come down for the barrier trial as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how he feels on the track. That'll give me a good guide on how I think he might go on race day and get a game of golf in out there at New South Wales now that it's been renovated as well.
Yeah,
I've been busted down there, so that worked out well.
Yeah, if you're looking for a fourth. I know.
Put another group together, no problem.
Yeah, I'd love to. Now, finally, I know I'm heading to Shark Park. You know that my eldest son, Joey's a massive rooster, just like you and your son. I know where you'll be this afternoon, Hong Kong time, watching this game. We're watching Mark Nwanganitawaze, who is phenomenal. How are you guys going to go against Cronulla?
I think it's going to be a really good game. Probably for Cronulla, it depends on how Nico turns up and plays. If he can control the game like he can at times, then Cronulla's going to be really hard to beat. But I think the Roosters can beat anyone on their day. We've got a very talented side when they come together with the cohesion that they can blow any team off the park. So it's going to be a really entertaining game. Hopefully a few tries in there, high scoring. It would be good to see Mark get up high, take a few of those balls again. He's hard to stop.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's over the sideline all the time and he still scores. It's incredible what he can do, and it's good to see Sammy back as well.
Absolutely.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful to have you join us live this morning, Zach. We really appreciate your time. We can't wait to have you back here in Australia next month, and wishing you and the team all the very best. I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate that, and looking forward to coming down.
Thanks, Zach.
Well, Timmy, we've got a new player in town. Successful businessman Michael Gregg bought a horse just a few years ago. I think it's safe to say he has well and truly got the bug.
Formed a great partnership with Brad Widdop. He's bought a beautiful property at Richmond, which he's renovating into a wonderful horse property, and has become a holder in the Everest, a slot holder. Now, his grandson Lachlan runs Mulberry Racing, and I caught up with him and another Widdop for Racing Dreams. Take a look. This is a classic racing story, isn't it? Because your grandfather, who was big in other business, bought a horse or bought a share of a horse with Brad Widdop and said, I love this. Is that what happened?
Yeah, look, he bought his first horse with Brad in 2019, the end of 2019, the Grundler. He's actually in one of the paddocks on the farm. He had, a couple of wins around Goulburn and stuff like that, and then he bought his second horse in 2021, and that it turned out to be Jettabel.
Racing now. Jetterbill bounds away, and Jetterbill set for a big win. Jetterbill a big winner. Really extending away, Jetterbill. Going right up the inside, Moravia and Jetterbill. Late Parade just in front. Jetterbill lunged and knocked it off. Jetterbill finally got the run and beat Parade, looked home. Well, didn't that change complexion? Parade charged up, and then Jetterbill's got right up on the inside, and I reckon Bogdan won the money a nose. Jetterbill is slicing through. Kamochi with a good run late. Here's Jetterbill going after Uncommon James, and Jetterbill lets down. Wins the Challenge Stakes. Kamochi's got up to run second. IME third.
He definitely fell in love with it after only, a small taste of the industry, and then since then has invested heavily and grown to love it.
And he's dreaming big. He's a big thinker, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you have to be, don't you? And we're kind of backing ourselves to have the success in years to come. We've got a nice crop of 2-year-olds coming through, and we've got some 3-year-olds there that are still unraced or barely raced. So there's big success soon to come, I hope.
The relationship with Brad Whittaker really seems to be in sync.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a big benefit for us having a partnership and a relationship with Brad Whittaker. We share a lot of the same values around the data-driven approach, using technology, using all the instruments at our disposal, and also the horse welfare approach. We both take a very patient approach with our horses, and that kind of relates very, very nicely. It just allows us, he wants to take almost the same approach that we want to take. So it's a very easy relationship to have, and it's very beneficial for both parties. And he's a very good trainer, very underrated trainer, and so we're really happy with the current situation.
So this is a really good relationship, isn't it, with your dad? And you obviously work for your dad, Brad Whittaker, and Mulberry Racing.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'm a track work rider and a stable hand for Dad, and I also still go to university. I'm studying exercise and sports science, so I'm just trying to take those tools and help build a platform for Mulberry. Lachlan worked with us for a little bit at the start just to learn the fundamentals of racing, and then from there he's really taken off, and we bounce from each other a lot. I'm learning a lot from him and the data side, because that's something I sort of want to look towards understanding a little bit more and how that sort of works. But yeah, we go hand in hand pretty well.
They've got a slot now in the Everest. How good would it be to have a Brad Whittaker horse in the Everest?
Oh, it'd be incredible. I think, Jetterbill's right up there. He's going well. He's got to obviously match up with some of the best. You've got Ying Rising coming from Hong Kong. People don't really know how good he is, but we believe in our horse, we believe in our systems, and we're just sort of taking it step by step. There's not a lot of pressure from Mulberry, which is the best part. So I think with Jetterbill and with the horse that we have at the moment, it's just taking it step by step and just seeing what happens from there. But it's good to have a slot in the race, isn't it?
And very exciting to have a slot in the Everest,
yes.
The richest race on turf.
Yes, the Everest is grown to become one of the premier sprint races in the world, if not one of the biggest. And it's kind of our goal. We're buying all these horses. We're thinking to the future. We want to have those elite horses in those elite races, and so acquiring the slot in the Everest was just kind of in the hopes that we will have those horses to be able to compete in those races. Look, obviously we're definitely hoping not just this year, but in the years to come that we'll have the horses ourselves to be able to fill those slots. Jetterbill's definitely close to that level. Ability-wise, I think he's there with them. He just needs to get that luck on the track and show that he is and can tangle with those at the elite level and compete in a race like the Everest.
Welcome back to Racing Dreams. We're just a week out from the official start of the $81 million Sydney Everest Carnival. I reckon you might have a bit of a stake in this year's Carnival.
Who knows? Who knows? I like Kryptonic. Had a good win last week. For those that didn't know, horse I've got a small share of out at Hawkesbury, was a head bobber and got there. Anyway, we'll wait and see. But that I digress and get too a little bit self-indulgent there. Ladies and gentlemen, Shano Cass joins us now, of course, from the Daily Telegraph, and the story. Jolie Starr's been breaking news periodically all week.
Well, she has. Good morning, Julie. Morning, Timmy. Well done last week. Great win.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, look, Jolie Starr, we heard Peter Tighe basically broke the news on the show.
He broke the news here. He told
was going to be in the
Yes.
Everest, and she is now officially in the Everest, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. But to the surprise of absolutely everybody, she's been scratched from her scheduled engagement in the Shirako Stakes today. But the good news is it's just a matter of waiting another week. So I guess all those trainers, Wayne Hawkes included, who thought they were racing for second in the Shirako, it's thrown that race wide open. Gangster Granny's gone from $3.60 into $1.90, and so that's made her job considerably easier. But what it also does, guys, with Jolie Starr coming out to be safe for next week's, what about the shorts? We're going to have Jolie Starr versus Private Harry, versus Briasa, versus Jimmy Starr. So there are 4 horses that are going to be in the Everest, confirmed runners, are all going to meet in the shorts at Randwick next Saturday on presumably a great track. So, talk about dress rehearsals. That is going to be one important race. And, we saw obviously Briasa, you replayed the trial this morning. Wow, I mean, he's absolutely flying at the moment. There's nothing wrong with Jolie Starr. I mean, obviously she's been going tremendously well. She's got a great first up record.
Yeah.
Jimmy Starr was awesome, I thought, in the race last weekend. So look, I think every trainer at the moment is ticking every box. We're hearing how well they're going, and they look to be going well.
I'm looking forward to sitting down with your boss this week, Ray Thomas. We're going to do a little sit down and do a really nice preview with Ray about these next few weeks, because they're mouthwatering. Ying Rising went from $1.80 to $1.70.
Yeah.
We've just spoken to Zach Purton. What about a horse like Headwall? Maddie Smith. We did Mulberry, maybe we don't know, but Mulberry Racing may go with.
Well, look, just seeing Ying Rising here, I was watching last Sunday afternoon, the horse win in Sha Tin, and I was keeping an eye on the tab, and straight away, when they crossed the line, he went $1.80 into $1.70, and that was primarily because he walked in, but he ran almost a course record, and you saw him do it with his head on his chest. But, in regards to Headwall, this was the day that Headwall probably made his case, if he hadn't already, for the Everest. I mean, you could not pick Headwall after this run. He's beaten 2 Everest contenders. Lady Shenandoah, of course, was extremely unlucky. You can see her there in the autumn sun colours, just getting through late and storming home late. Jimmy Starr was slow out, came down the outside. There he is finishing 5th, ran enormous sectionals. In fact, all 3 horses peeled off sectionals that were absolutely unbelievable, Everest-style sectionals, because, as Zach Purton said before, there's going to be a very fast-run Everest, not that they're slow ones, but this is going to be a really quick one. So is Headwall the type of horse that can sit back, bang, have last crack? Probably. Or are these horses up front just going to run such time that those Headwalls are just going to be running 3rd, 4th, 5th, It's going to be a great race.
It's really nice to hear Zach and David Hayes as well showing the respect to the Australian sprinters that they deserve. David Hayes saw that finish with Lady Shenandoah and said, I reckon Chris should send her far, far away from the Everest. She's a bit of a threat. I reckon she should go to the Golden Eagle. So this isn't just a one-horse race. We've seen this happen before.
Well, that's right. And, Zach Purton and David Hayes would well know that most of the best horses in Hong Kong have come from Australia. Silent Witness was bred in Australia. Ying Rising was bred in New Zealand. He was originally housed in Victoria. So he's essentially an Australian horse. And so was Silent Witness, so was Romantic Warrior. So they know what it takes to win in Australia. And, the thing about Zach Purton is Zach Purton's under pressure every time he rides Ying Rising, because half of Hong Kong turns out. So when he comes to Australia, I don't think he's going to be under any more pressure than he has. And that's really going to weigh in the horse's favour as well, to have a jockey who's just going to be out there knowing all he has to do is just execute. And depending on the draw and things like that, I'm not sure that it is a one-horse race, but the more you see Ying Rising, the more you start to think it actually might be. But then you see interviews with Wayne Hawkes. The horse put on 40 kilos.
Absolutely. Well, now, John Massara is very excited about Autumn Glow. $1.40 today in the Theo Marks. And, look, wins that in open company. I know this is a bit of a change, but still $1.40, prohibitive odds. Where do you reckon she would start in an Epsom if she wins this well?
Well, she'll probably start close to $1.40 because at the moment she's unbeaten. And look, she's looking a bit unbeatable at the same time too. And I suppose the interesting thing about her today is, as you mentioned, she goes into the hardest race she's ever been in. I mean, she's taking on older horses, males in particular. But look, she's got a different jockey. Karen McAvoy's riding her today, taking over from James McDonald. But Karen did ride her when she won the Up and Coming. And interestingly, Timmy, Karen rode the father, the Autumn Sun, through pretty much most of his brilliant career when he won the Golden Rose. So I don't think the horse loses anything with having a 3-time Everest jockey taking over from James McDonald. But look, it's a test for her. The punters obviously don't think so. But look, if she wins it in a breeze again today, then you know, how many races can she win? And the Epsom's probably, calling races over is a bit rich, but it's getting closer to being over.
She's a machine, she really is, as are you. I know you've got radio commitments then, and you've got to head to New York, you've got a big Saturday. You tell you what, he's much loved, isn't he?
He is, rightly so.
Much sought after.
Lovely to see you, Shano. Thanks for coming in.
Likewise, have a great weekend.
Good on you, Shana. Now, can I just say, and I mentioned it before, there's nothing quite like owning a horse, and if it wins a race anywhere, you jump up and down. I mentioned Kryptonic at Hawkesbury, won by a nose last week. It is extraordinary. You've owned horses.
I've owned horses. Most of them we just trot around the paddock very, very quietly. But the beauty of owning racehorses these days is anyone can get involved. Essentially anyone can get involved and live their racing dream. And someone who is fully aware of that is Jason Abrahams from Champion Thoroughbreds, who has won with a pretty good chance today.
Lilac coming up. Off here in the car stakes. They've got 150 to go. Lilac in front with a good kick. Clean Energy out late now. More Territories zooming home, but Lilac in front, and Lilac saw it out from More Territories.
Lilac in at Randwick in the Shirako. Got to be with a good chance.
You'd think so this weekend. She's first up. She's had a couple of trials, and you know, long term, we're trying to get her to a race like the Invitation for the mares, a $2 million race at Randwick over 1400, which she won the JB car in the autumn over 14 at Randwick. So obviously we're going to try and repeat the dose and end up there at some stage. But first up, she's a nice sharp filly or mare now, and being by Justify, she likes to be on speed. So I think Annabelle's got her pretty well primed for a first up effort, and obviously there'll still be improvement from there, but she'll be, they'll know she's in the race on later today.
It's no longer for the blue bloods, is it? We've said that many times. People can get in, whether it's 1% or less, and know the wonder and magic of horse ownership. I had one win the other week, and it's the best feeling, and it doesn't matter where they win.
Absolutely, and what we're seeing now is there's horses that are affordable for people at all price ranges. So we've got clients who would like a share in a $300,000 horse, but we've also got clients who want a share in a horse that costs $30,000 or $40,000. And look, the winning feeling is the same. Doesn't matter what the price of the horse or what track you're at. It's an experience that people, once they've had it, they want to repeat it and repeat it again. So horse ownership is something different that, you know, once you've had a taste for it, you want to have it ongoing. It's part of it. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood.
Racing now. Lions Roar coming down the outside to join Harmony Rose. Wheelhouse between them, but Lions Roar is roaring away with the Randwick Guineas, and Lions Roar an upset victory.
Ownership of Lions Roar, they went on a very good ride.
Yeah, well, look, he started it down at Wagga and won a maiden down there, and then he came back in the spring of his 3-year-old season, and he ran second to Mwanga at Newcastle in a Class 1. But we knew we had a pretty nice horse, and he came back in the autumn then and won the Randwick Guineas, and he ended up winning $2.3 million, and he was a $65,000 purchase out of New Zealand. When he retired, we gave him to one of the owners who is now riding him around, and I think he's going to be competing in the Equimillion in a month or so. So people will get to see him and enjoy him for much longer than just his racing career as well, which is great.
Right to go, Racing, and Target Insight began sweetly. Target Insight and Bertha Flirt. Target Insight went through, hit the lead. Fedora's on the outside, but Target Insight's won a neck. Fedora. Third might be Bertha Flirt.
Target was a great horse. He was an $80,000 buy, and he won the sprint up there and 2 stakes races as well. I think he ended up with about 1.1 in prize money. Lovely animal, beautiful horse, and that career was probably 4 or 5 years. So, it takes you for a nice ride, and when you get a nice horse like him, who was magnificent to look at, like beautiful head and attitude and great demeanour, it just really makes the experience so much better.
Absolutely. So what's your message to people from Champion Thoroughbreds to get involved?
Oh, look, you get involved, you get a small share, spread it around if you can. We try and get people to diversify and not put all their eggs in the one basket. So, a 2.5% share and a couple of horses rather than a 5% share, and you're getting twice the emails, twice, the opportunity to go to the races and win a race or two, and you become friends with a lot of the other owners, and a lot of our clients are between them friends for life now out of owning a horse, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Finally, something small each way on Lilac. Is that what your suggestion is?
Look, I'd say something small this week, and Annabelle will have her primed for later on in the prep, but I'd say this weekend would be a nice starting point for her, and we'll see where we go.
It is great to have your company this Saturday, and joining us now is Greg Meal from Bathurst Thoroughbred Racing. What a big day ahead for you guys, Greg. Bathurst Cup.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting tomorrow. 7-race program, and it's the weather is beautiful.
Having a look, Dame Annie goes into this as favourite, but this is also a big one because you've got the big dance eligibility. What does this mean for the trainers and the owners out there?
Oh, it's huge because, the opportunity to race for $3 million, in a 6 or 8 weeks' time is just amazing. I was fortunate enough to own a share in a horse that ran in the 2023 Big Dance, made the final, and it's so exciting. It's a really amazing day down at Randwick, and to have a qualifying race here is really exciting.
Of course, our wonderful chair of Racing New South Wales, Saran Cook, is a Bathurst local. I was out there a couple of years ago for the Bathurst Cup. I think we met, and it's such a good day, isn't it? It's a good party as well. Get the band going, and it's good fun.
Yeah, we've got live music tomorrow, and jumping castles for the kids, and a bucking bull for the people who've got a bit of adventure in them. So, it should be a really exciting day.
It is a big day for you guys. Money from the Sky won last year's and then came 16th in the Big Dance. A huge day ahead. We've got to let you go, but thank you so much. There's still tickets available. Where can people get tickets for tomorrow?
Absolutely. Just walk up to the gate. We've got plenty of space for people. There's going to be great entertainment, beautiful sunny day, and
awesome.
Lots of fun.
Good on you, Greg. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bathurst Cup Day. If you're anywhere near, go and have a look. Big thank you to Racing New South Wales who make this all possible. Do it again next week.
See you next week.